No, then flipping bollock. Then do blue. Alright guys,
nice.
Welcome back.
Nice theme tune.
Yeah, today will be JFK Assassination Conspiracy. Now, we won't be able to cover everything.
I was supposed to have read it, but I just started reading it today. Tried to read it today, too much to read. Well, there's a lot to read and I've got a lot of stuff to do today. I blame myself really. Sorry mate.
So that's right. I understand. I understand you've got other things done.
But I've read a lot of it and it is... And because it's intrigued me now, I'm going to read it all. Because something needs to interest me. Because I wasn't really that interested before, as you know.
Yeah.
But now, because I've read this, and there's a lot of suspicions, there's a lot of conspiracies going on here, so I'm intrigued, so I will finish it.
It took me about 3 days to get everything and confirm it, like triple check. So, you can find these documents online, but they're hard to read. Because obviously they're the original, so they're oxidised, so it's hard to read the text. But I've got it down. As you may or may not know, JFK is the 35th president. He was American-Irish family. Now, the Kennedy family as a whole, they are cursed.
He was also a Democrat.
Yeah. Democrat. They are also, the Kennedy family are cursed. Now, when I say cursed, a lot of family members died in suspicious, tragic circumstances. But we will start with JFK. Before we delve in, I'm gonna play a clip. It's the JFK speech. So I'm going to play that and then we'll move forward. It's interesting. So just flipping play roll, y'all. God's sake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
I wanted to play the whole clip for you because I wanted to understand, obviously, us to understand the type of man he was. That's what he wanted. And within this conspiracy, some people say that was the speech that killed him, because a lot of people in the back room didn't want him to speak out, and that's the reason why. He didn't want anything hidden. And it's sad because...
Well, he did say that everybody deserves to know the truth, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, because obviously everyone at the back room, so to speak, wanted to keep everything hidden. So, but if you want to listen to that clip yourself, then you can find it on YouTube. Just type in JFK, the speech that killed him. But we'll move on to the actual starting point of the assassination. Now, obviously, President Kennedy was known to be the man of the people. He wanted to be accessible at all times. He wasn't in it for money, because he already had that anyway.
Kennedys were very rich.
Yeah, they were an American-Irish family. What many people don't know is that when he was 8 years old, they were Irish, he had a horse riding accident and he had to wear a back brace, which he wore for all of his life. And he even wore it on the day he was assassinated. So we're looking at, because obviously we've got the stuff up. So Lincoln Continental 4-door. Okay, it's gone off. Yeah, so it's a Lincoln Continental 1961 4-door.
Sorry about that.
Convertible limousine. Entered Linden Plaza at 12:30. Now, obviously, there's a huge crowd, both sides of the street. You had policemen on motorbikes. You had, if I remember from what I read, 4 secret agents walking alongside as the car was moving along at a slow pace.
You got the motorbikes.
Motorbikes in front.
One on either side.
Yeah, and plus another 1 or 2 in front to maintain the speed. And they'll coming up to a corner which is at 90-degree angle, so that you can have a good overview. Now, there's more than one alleged suspect. One of them who the police wrongfully arrested was a guy called Harvey Oswald, who there is no way he could have shot the president. Yes, he was a marksman in the military, and yes, he could fire a weapon, but marksmen aren't sniper level. So, but anyway, there's the evidence mounting. But prior to that, Harvey Oswald left his place of work, grabbed a can of Coke, walked out, and then jumped onto a bus, because he was heading to the cinema.
Former US Marine and Marxist.
Yeah.
Harvey Oswald
Was arrested by
the police department about 70 times after the initial shooting.
70 minutes after the initial shooting.
Oswald was charged under Texas state law with the murder of Kennedy, as well as that of a Dallas policeman, J.D. Tippit, who had been fatally shot a short time after the assassination at 11:21 Sunday, 1963, on November 24th.
Now, Oswald, even though he was charged, one, he didn't assassinate JFK, because yes, he's a Marxist, but they're not. They can't shoot like a sniper, and the other officer he didn't kill. So he left work, grabbed a can of Coke, jumped on the bus because he was going to go to the cinema. He got out of the bus and went into a taxi. Now, he arrived to the cinema, he got out, and then he was met by the police. And this is where they tried to cover it up, because when Kennedy was assassinated, the Secret Service is meant to immediately jump on. But they
Ted
didn't.
present all the time.
But they didn't. No one did. No one covered him.
They said they didn't hear it though. They said a few didn't hear the shots.
But
so none of them was really...
They didn't hear it, but their training, they are taught, no matter what, you cover the president.
So what you saying?
You make sure he doesn't get a shot.
Yeah, so
obviously they must have fucked up.
But what are you supposed to do if you don't hear the shot, the warning shot? What are you supposed to do?
Then what you're supposed to do is, if you don't hear anything...
Which they didn't.
Which they didn't, you were still vigilant.
Some of them heard one shot, some of them heard two. But the first shot, nobody heard.
But there were 3 shots.
Nobody heard the first shot.
But the first one missed the president.
Yeah.
So they didn't hear that one.
No one heard it. But the second shot and third shot, a few heard it.
Yeah.
But some didn't. But the third shot, everybody heard the first shot.
Your training as a Secret Service agent, you jump on the president as fast as you can.
That's what
you are meant to do that. But
that's what one of them said that they tried to do.
Well, obviously they didn't do a very good job of it.
Whilst you're trying to talk, while you're talking, I'm gonna find out who tried to jump on.
Yeah. So the second and third shot were fired. The second shot hit the president. Now there's a bit of a confusion because both the second and the third shot was fired simultaneously, but they were both shot from different angles. So imagine there's a sniper and he's shooting, and imagine a bullet going... Well, one of them went through his throat, but there's a bit of a confusion because some people are saying it came from the front, and some are saying it came from the back because it went through there. And people are saying, how come he was still upright? Well, as I mentioned, he had an accident and he had to wear a back brace, which he had to wear since that day. So he was wearing it on that day, which kept him upright. Now,
Right, okay. Secret Service Special Agent Clint Hill was riding on the left front running board of the follow-up car, which was immediately behind the presidential limousine.
Yeah.
Hill testified that he heard one shot. Then, as documented in other films and concurrent with
Zapruder
Frame 308, he jumped off into Elm Street and ran forward to try to get on the limousine and protect the president. Yeah. So he was riding on the left front running board.
Yeah. He then heard 2 more shots. After the president had been shot in the head, which I don't know if he was shot in the head, but I do remember him getting shot there.
He was shot in there because his wife said later on that she was holding his brain and fragments of his skull in her bare hands. Well, then
that's where that
it came from the back.
That third bullet must have came into effect then.
Which was here.
Yeah, so
it went from here, right, to the front, right. But the thing is, she was sitting. She was sitting.
Kennedy was here. His wife.
She was in front of him, right?
No. Kennedy was here, and his wife was here.
Okay.
His wife was sitting next to him.
So
because I can't do it.
Right. Okay. No. Sorry. It was either side, right? Either side.
It could either come from
because it wouldn't have come from the back because if it came from the back, she wouldn't have got that onto her hands.
No.
Would
Well,
she
that's
have
why,
not?
that's why people are
But
confused.
she did say
like,
she was holding him,
yeah.
saying, "Are you okay? Everything's going to be okay."
Yeah.
So while she was holding him, that's when the blood and the brain and the skull
Because
all would have.
because there was 2 shots, but there was like 7 entry wounds. Right, because if the shot went through the back of his head, then obviously it will go through the driver the passenger on, or the driver on this side. Because you know how you mentioned how the car slowed down? Well, the driver actually got a hit, but it got a hit in his leg.
That's
so he
why.
was controlling the brake.
That's why he slowed down.
So he slowed down. But also there was another bullet.
Wait a minute. The leg controlling the brake.
Yeah, because
That's why it slowed down.
Because as the bullet went through his head.
Yeah, but
there were 7 wounds from one bullet.
Yeah, but if it was controlling the brake, right, it wouldn't have slowed down. Because
But it depends how the bullet penetrates.
But surely it would have took the leg off the brake.
But
If it was shot, that would have quickened it up for me.
Well, not really. It depends how it's hit. But
True.
there was one
Right.
bullet and there's 7 points of entry wounds. But this bullet was known as a magic bullet. Meaning,
That the one that wasn't heard.
magic bullet is where, you know when you fire a bullet and you get fragments? Well, there is such a thing called magic bullet where no fragments come off it. It's still perfect.
Okay.
So, Kennedy got shot, then the bullet travelled, because it travelled and then it hit. And then obviously the second car behind the president's limousine, there was another bullet that hit them, but the bullet bounced up and hit 3. Either 2 more got wounded.
Where are you?
No, I'm just going off what I can remember from.
Because you read up a lot more.
Yeah. Now, while all that is going off, Lee Harvey Oswald is still on his way to the cinema to enjoy his,
To enjoy his coke. To enjoy the film.
right? But then he.
That'll really piss me off,
Yeah.
Say if I'm taking because I'm seeing Infinity Wars later for the second time. If I was taking a trip to see that and I got pulled over by police saying, "Excuse me, you're under arrest," I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
I'd seen the film, man. What you do after?"
Because this is where it becomes a conspiracy. Because the police, they did a terrible job.
Sounds like
they wanted to wrap it up as quickly as they can.
That sounds like a plan to me. Because you know what, right? Do you think it might have been set up?
Well,
because the thing is, they did that, then immediately after they went straight to him. So, how many minutes later when it happened?
from the time JFK was assassinated to Lee Harvey Oswald was 70 minutes later.
Right, so that's a bit short, isn't it?
Yeah, now...
To gather evidence to see who the actual suspect is, you arrest a man 70 minutes after, which is no time really at all, especially after a murder. You arrest him. That does sound like some kind of a setup.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to play this. This is Lee Harvey Oswald declares, "I'm just a Patsy." And I'm going to play it for you now. It's 46 seconds long. He says, I'm just a patsy.
Meaning a scapegoat, right?
Yeah. He didn't do it because...
But he was going to the theatre.
Yeah. Now, yes, he was a Marxist. Yes, he knows how to fire a weapon,
But to arrest a man 70 minutes...
But a Marxist is not good enough to hit someone.
To arrest a man 70 minutes after the actual murder is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, because you know why?
There's no... Well, you can't gather evidence after just 70 minutes, surely not. I mean, I'm no expert on the forensics or anything, but even people like us, regular folk, know that it takes a lot longer than 70 minutes, especially in the 60s.
Yeah.
Especially in the 60s.
Exactly.
Right? To gather evidence of everything that you need to do to actually solve the crime.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it still takes quite a while. So if it still takes quite a while now, it's going to take 10,000 times longer back then.
Yeah.
So 70 minutes straight after an actual murder, especially in the astronomical proportions that it was, with it being the president, 70 minutes after, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he was a patsy, he was a scapegoat.
No evidence, and the police department fucking panicked.
And isn't it ironic that Kennedy said in the speech, "We shall hold no secrets. We should not hold no secrets from the press and from the civilians of this country,
exactly,
because they deserve the right to know what happened."
Yeah.
And then that was his final interview.
That was his final speech, congressional speech.
Strange, right? I mean, that is weird.
And that's the speech that they did not want him to do. And one of the guys who didn't want him to do the speech was Linden B. Johnson.
Kennedy was an ex-military man as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Was Linden B. Johnson. He did not want President Kennedy to do that speech. And he was a right fuck as well.
What was he? What job did he do? I know was he involved in the administration, or was he involved in...
He was involved in the government at that time.
So
and he was a right...
The administration?
Yeah, and he was a right fuck. Now, this time, a bit of a detour, President Kennedy and MLK, Martin Luther King, President Kennedy wanted to work with Martin Luther King to try and bring the peace.
And it being the 60s, the KKK was still... Obviously, they were very powerful back then.
But
they had politicians, they had government members within that cult.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Because of the KKK being very influential back then.
Yeah.
With members, powerful members, rich members, government members. You don't know. I mean, this is just theories. This is just me theorising, right? You don't know. One of their members could have been one of the suspects to the...
Well, Lyndon B. Johnson hated He hated black people. He wanted them out. So he despised Kennedy. The night before, Lyndon B. Johnson rang up Kennedy and told him, don't do the speech. Don't do it. Kennedy took his advice on board and said, thank you for your advice. Hung up the phone. I'm paraphrasing because I don't know. JFK went out and did a speech at the Congressional. Lyndon B. Johnson heard and he was pissed. He did not like black people. He thought Martin Luther King was a scum of the earth.
Yeah.
He didn't want to give black people the rights. So that was one suspect. Another suspect was Fidel Castro. Right?
Cuba.
Yeah, bear with me.
The Cuban president.
Yeah. Also, this ties in Lee Harvey Oswald. Some people are saying that he was a Russian spy. Right?
Double agent.
A double agent. Right? It's all interesting, but it's confusing to get your head around.
These are just conspiracists, right? Saying this, or you are
a conspiracy. There was a lot of tension, and I tend to believe it because I've read up on LBJ and he's a bit of
and you just never
nasty
know.
fuck.
You just never know anyway.
But these are a conspiracy because obviously we don't really know. But Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested, and then whilst that farce is going on, Kennedy was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where the medical doctors.
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Probably. Where is it? No, that's not it. Doctor. So he was also doctors later stated must have been up before this. It's on about doctors.
Parkland Memorial Hospital there. So they rushed him to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where the medical doctors there wanted to do an autopsy. But again, here comes the CIA. Another bunch of dirty fucks. Went, oh no you don't. We're gonna take him. So they took the body off their hands, off the doctors in Parkland. Said nope. We've got our own doctors. So they took the body, which they can't do because it's against the law, but they did it anyway.
Secret
and took him
because Central Intelligence.
Yeah. And what Parker did their autopsy and they found evidence, but obviously the CIA don't want it. They want to do their own version and basically,
avoid all conspiracies.
Yeah. So they steal the body.
That's what you think, right? They stole the body because they didn't know what actually happened.
No.
Because it will come back onto them.
Yeah.
And that other guy you was talking about, the guy that hated, despised.
Yeah, Linden B Johnson, yeah. Right, now, obviously, Kennedy was dead. His wife was in tears, distraught.
She stated later on that the governor, what's the governor's name? The governor that was riding with them at the time. Governor Connolly. This part really got to me because it said. I mean, I just pictured this in my mind. How and it made me feel sick.
Yeah. Governor Connolly also reacted after the same bullet penetrated his back.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is right. Governor Connolly said he saw Miss Kennedy climb into the back of the car and grab and collect his bits of his skull, blood, and also his brain.
Yeah.
And climbed back through to the car to sit back down next to her husband. And from there, she was telling Kennedy that everything's going to be okay, knowing that she knew things weren't going to be okay, because she knew that he was dead, but she still held his skull and his brain and that's
terrifying. And the amount of...
But she can't recall doing it either.
No.
She says she can't recall doing it.
But obviously, time passed, and they escorted Mrs. Kennedy back to the Oval Office. Right? She's sitting there, bawling her eyes out, distraught. Right? Here comes Linden B Johnson. Now, this is how fucked up he was. He was smiling. He had a grin. He had a big, massive grin on his face. Right. And moments later, he's sworn in as a new president.
You know, this sounds like House of Cards.
Yeah.
When Frank, but President before Frank wasn't killed, but they made a massive scandal of the president at that moment, and that scandal got rid of the president at that moment, and Frank was sworn in.
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of it.
Yeah. Then.
So Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in. How many hours later?
I'd say between the time they officially announced.
Do you know?
A matter of. I'm just.
I don't want to guess. I don't want you to guess. But it would. From her being escorted back to the Oval Office, it wouldn't have been that long after, would it?
From reading up, I'd say approximately 2 minutes after the whole assassination.
Yeah, but you see.
And he was sworn in immediately.
So he was vice president?
No, he was the president.
No, Lyndon B.
Johnson was sworn in as the president.
Yeah, was he vice president? Because he would have been vice president to be sworn into presidential president.
I don't know if he was. I don't know.
He would have been vice president because the vice president takes over to be president if something happens to the president. So he would have been vice president. Yeah,
vice president. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So the next step after vice president is president.
Yeah, so you would have been vice. At the police station, Lee Harvey Oswald is being transferred through. Well, he's taken from a jail into the police station to be questioned, and I didn't download the audio because I ran out of time, but there was a camera crew, a crowd of people, and this is where it gets...
Looks like it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Bring my bike in.
This is where it gets even more interesting. Another guy pops up, named by Jack Ruby. Right, he was a club owner and a bit of a small time gangster. Right, so they're escorting Lee Harvey Oswald in, and a crowd of people, and in comes Jack Ruby from coming through the back way. Jack Ruby walks through the crowd, walks up to Lee Harvey Oswald, right, pulls out a gun, shoots him. Right, and it's a bit comical because
the small time gangster dude.
It was a club owner.
Yeah, what was his name again?
Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby. So.
Right, so he walks in through the back.
And shoots Oswald. The guy that supposedly killed Kennedy.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Then, but this is comical because...
so they obviously wanted it to be kept quiet.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Lyndon B. Johnson?
No, not Lyndon B. Johnson. That's the president. Well, now president. The guy that killed Oswald. What's his name?
Jack Ruby.
Right, so he was he white?
Yeah.
Okay. So he just suddenly walks up to Oswald shoots him, and that's it. And
chaos is, mad panic ensues. But here's a funny thing. The news reports are like, oh my god, Kennedy, oh my god, Oswald being shot, like, and that's all fake. That news crew, all planned. That was all planned by the police. I just done to cover it up. So the police department and Jack Ruby must have been in cahoots because it was too fake. Because they wanted to sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah, because Oswald knew the truth.
Yeah,
he knew it had been set up.
Yeah. I mean...
So they was desperate to cover this up.
Yeah. They were very desperate. But I know it sounds confusing, and we're trying to make it as simple as possible.
Well, you are.
But I am, yeah.
I'm learning from you.
Yeah. But there's another suspect.
Fucking hell.
Right?
Who is this now?
Quoted.
Not his mum, is it?
Quoted as the Umbrella Man.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, on this day, it was hot, sunny. A sunny day. Right? This dude is wearing an overcoat, a hat not too dissimilar to the one you wear.
Which one?
Right?
I've got loads.
Right? And
when they can actually fit, not with this afro.
no. And he's holding an umbrella. And it's a hot day.
He might have suffered the same disease Michael Jackson suffered from.
This umbrella is a weapon. Because the CIA had James Bond type shit, weaponry, concealed. Right, so it couldn't have been Lee Harvey Oswald because he's not that good of a shooter, and he wasn't close enough, and he's not that good. So who could it have been? Who was closest? The Umbrella Man. And he's closest to hit the president because it's a threat. Basically, it's like a dart type. So you fire it, and it's close enough. And they tried it out by actual snipers, and they tried it. They can't do it. So whoever this Umbrella Man was knew how to hit the target. He knew how to fire it. And he was the only one closest because he was in the crowd. So he was there as President's car was rolling past. So he had a good shot. And my money from reading was he was the one that could have done it. And I'm going to play you another clip that I found, and this is of
who's that?
That's Nia Jax.
You got fancy or something? Yeah, that's for her.
Well, you're not that big women. Don't take that literally.
She's not that big. She's muscular, man. She'd tear you apart like a flipping barbecue. Like you're a piece of meat. Right.
This is Bill O'Reilly reporting on the JFK conspiracy.
She's alright though, but she'd eat me alive, man.
This is 6 minutes 27. I'm not going to play the whole clip, but I'll play enough of it. If you're flipping.
In today's flashback, we have dusted off a really old tape from the archives to take it back to November 1979 and an eyewitness news investigation into the assassination of President John Kennedy. The Channel 3 reporter on this story was Bill O'Reilly, who was asking some pretty tough questions about a new theory that was emerging 34 years ago, that the assassin was not Lee Harvey Oswald, but rather a bystander in Dealey Plaza known as the Umbrella Man. Dallas, Texas, 16 years ago, the last moments of President John F. Kennedy's life. Here is the first sign of trouble. Kennedy reacting with his hands to something, his wife Jacqueline looking at him, and a man with a raised umbrella standing only yards away. Moments later, 2 bullets slammed into the president from behind. Why is there an open umbrella near the president when this is against Secret Service rules and the temperature in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963 was 68, skies sunny? And who is holding this umbrella? These questions have been the subject of research and debate for 16 years. Now, this man, Robert Cutler, is charging that the man holding the umbrella was part of a conspiracy to kill JFK. Cutler, a Massachusetts architect and Harvard graduate, has been researching the JFK assassination for 13 years and is convinced his theory is correct. Basically, this is Cutler's theory. On a warm, sunny November day, just like this one in Dealey Plaza, a man held up an umbrella just as President Kennedy approached in his car. The man shot a dart into Kennedy's throat, the umbrella being the firing mechanism. Now, all this sounds a little far-fetched, but some researchers believe it, and they point to some hard evidence. First of all, the dart or flechette. This dart was found in a Hartford gun show in 1977, and Cutler believes it is similar to the one allegedly fired at Kennedy. It is a matter of record that the CIA developed such a dart and a firing system for it. This man, Richard Bissell, an ex-CIA agent who lives in Farmington, confirms the weapon's existence. This is Bissell's home in Farmington. He refuses to talk to us on camera, saying he's too busy. But over the phone, he did tell me that the CIA did indeed have a dart or flechette weapon well before JFK was assassinated. So, in 1963, the umbrella firing dart did exist, and Cutler has made extensive drawings detailing how the dart could have been fired. But although the umbrella man was just 26 yards away from JFK, the question of firing a dart with accuracy must be raised. Hartford assassination researcher George Michael Ivica believes Cutler may be onto something and has investigated the umbrella weapon. Wouldn't it be hard to shoot a dart at a moving target from an umbrella?
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Tell me why.
Well, Charles Sensony, the man who developed it, who gave testimony in 1975 to the Church Intelligence Committee, said that it was both operational, he is the one who invented it, and that it was accurate up to 100 meters.
When the limousine came around the corner like this, the difference between here and where he actually fired is only 10 degrees. In other words, the target was coming directly at you. So it was really quite simple to track and then fire at the right time.
And so you're convinced that the umbrella man fired a flechette like this into President Kennedy's throat?
The reason I'm convinced is that this is exactly right. This 5-millimeter diameter is just about right for the observed 3 to 7 millimeter diameter of the actual throat wound, which is a small, round wound of entry. The doctors in Parkland said so.
At first, the doctors at Parkland Hospital in Dallas did believe JFK had been shot in the front of the neck. In the handwritten autopsy released through the Freedom of Information Act, Dr. Malcolm Perry, one of the doctors on the scene in Dallas, is quoted as noting the massive wound of the head and a second puncture wound of the low anterior neck in approximately the midline. When this handwritten autopsy report was typed for official distribution, the word puncture was inexplicably taken out and the word smaller put in its place. Soon after noting the puncture wound, Dr. Perry performed a tracheotomy on JFK, thereby obliterating the original neck wound. Today, the official government line is JFK was shot only from the rear, and his throat wound was an exit wound. Critics want to know what happened to the dart that allegedly hit JFK in the throat. Cutler points to this document, a receipt signed by 2 FBI agents acknowledging the acceptance of a missile removed from JFK's body. This missile receipt has been a mystery for 16 years and a prime piece of conspiracy evidence. Francis X. O'Neill is one of the FBI agents who signed for the missile. He's now retired and lives in Guilford. For the first time on television, O'Neill speaks out about the missile controversy.
The missile was 2 pieces of fragmentations of a bullet which was taken from the head of President Kennedy at the autopsy in Bethesda Naval Hospital.
Why would it be labeled a missile if there were 2 fragments?
Oh, I think you'd have to ask the naval corpsman who typed it up at the particular time. There were just 2 fragments. I accepted the package, possibly because it was just one very small package. You might have thought that there was just 1 missile there.
All right, let me get this straight. There were 2 fragments in the packet that was handed to you, but you signed a receipt for a missile. Now, that's not very exact, and FBI men are usually very exact.
Oh, I think under these circumstances at the time, yes, the corpsman was let in just for this one specific thing, to type up the particular receipt. And I knew what I was getting. I was getting 2 particular fragmentations.
So you think the Warren Commission really
had the whole thing under control.
But if you mean under control, did they do an exhaustive investigation? Yes.
Bill O'Reilly, Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Now, in the years to follow, it was determined the...
So, that confirms that theory. I mean, you know, what other possibility could there be? I mean, Fidel Castro, I can't really see him, like, you know,
I don't see him being involved. Right?
Involved because he's not going to take the time out of his...
What you said, right, it's got to be Linden B. Johnson, right? That's his name, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You said that, well, you read up that he didn't like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was assassinated as well.
Yeah.
And he also said to Kennedy, do not read out the speech.
No.
And Kennedy read out the speech, which was, well, his duty as a president, and also he was stating that he wanted change in the way the country worked.
Yeah.
By letting everybody know what, you know, that from secrets, he didn't want any secrets being kept.
No.
And Lyndon B. Johnson didn't want him to do it, and he did, causing Lyndon B. Johnson to probably come up with this plan. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. He would have had associates, of course.
Yeah, because
but it was weird though, because he was sworn as president after, which obviously he will, because he was vice president, but he might have been wanted to be president, and all of a sudden something pushed him over the edge to make him do something like that. I don't know.
Because after the president did a speech for the congressional, later that evening, Lyndon B. Johnson made a phone call, because obviously, as you know, someone called Lyndon B. Johnson or vice versa and said he wanted something done about it. He did not want Kennedy to meet with Martin Luther King. LBJ didn't want that. So he said on the phone to an unknown individual, I want this done. I want this sorted. I want it cleared. Who that person was, I don't know. But as I said, LBJ was a dirty fuck and he didn't care. But Fidel Castro, yes, he's a mean motherfucker, but no, we're not going to waste your time.
Cuba and the USA have had they have got a lot of history that involves a lot of bad shit. There's a lot of bad shit between them. But
he wouldn't.
I think the main suspect, I think that points to Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah, it's either LBJ or the Umbrella Man.
Both.
Or both.
Well, LBJ would have probably hired the Umbrella Man to do it, because he's not going to do it himself.
LBJ was known for that as well.
Because he's
like doing little handouts to clear things up. Jack Ruby was obviously sent in to get rid of Oswald. I don't know why, but, you know, because Jack Ruby was only a club owner. He wasn't anything big time. Yeah, he did some criminal things in his past. But nothing to the degree.
They're not going to hire anyone major, because that would have brought suspicion.
Exactly.
So they went to lower levels. They went to a person that is unknown.
Yeah, it could have been a multitude, because at that time there is mafia, so it could have been any number. But in my opinion, it's down to two people. LBJ and the Umbrella Man.
Both.
Or both.
Lyndon B. Johnson hired the Umbrella Man to do it. That's what I think.
But I mean...
That was his associate.
But...
That was the man he worked with.
For everything President Kennedy did, they undid all that in a short space of time because they were like, no, we don't want the civilians to know what we're doing. We want to leave them being like, you know, none the wiser, stupid. We all tell them. We will use the media to twist things, which Kennedy didn't want. So, you know, the Secret Service fucked up because they sort of protected the president, which they didn't.
But if you think of it right, if it is the Umbrella Man, which it sounds like it is, but it only sounds like it is, because in all honesty, no one truly knows. But if it was the Umbrella Man, how are they going to know about a bloody damn bullet on a dart being fired out of an umbrella? No one's going to know about that, so they're not going to be prepared for that.
Which is why...
They were prepared with any other circumstances. They were prepared with every other thing that could have happened.
Yeah, that's why they didn't notice it.
For that to happen, a bullet and a dart being fired out of a damn umbrella,
exactly.
No one's going to know that was going to come. So no one's going to shield him from that type of moment.
No, but to get as close as they did, without them not realising...
Yeah, but they're not going to realise.
Well, no, because...
to them, it was just another innocent bystander.
Well, no. Your job as a Secret Service agent is you scan everyone. You don't assume that he's just standby.
Even if they did scan him, they wouldn't have found anything suspicious.
Well, no, what I mean is scan by they look at everyone.
Yeah.
They look around.
Yeah, but no one's going
if that happened, right? If that happened in London with the Jubilee, with the Queen and Prince Philip,
Prime Minister, or the
Prime Minister walking past, and someone got that close, which that happened, and someone got a beat down, there'll be an uproar. I can guarantee the CIA or whoever will be on top of the Queen and Prince Philip.
MI5, probably.
Protecting them. But in the secret, but oh no. Also, was they really bothered about a Kennedy getting killed? That's another theory.
Do you think they was on it too?
I don't know, but I'm just throwing up all the theories that people have come out with because they were too slow. They weren't as quick.
Yeah, but
when LBJ was assassinated, because he was assassinated years later, they pounced out on him.
Perhaps because they learnt after Kennedy.
Yeah, but the thing is, but you see where I'm coming from. Like they pounce on him, protect him, right? But they don't jump straight onto the president.
Yeah, but the Secret Service aren't really political beings; they are security.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not going to be.
Their job.
So they're not going to be bothered about politics. If they were bothered about politics, then I can see why they'd be suspect. But I don't see them being suspect because they're not involved in politics. The only job that they have is protecting the president.
Yeah, but
so I can't really see this being a part of the conspiracy yet. I can't see this being a part of the conspiracy.
That's not a conspiracy, that's like just a theory, but the conspiracy is who killed JFK. That was a conspiracy we were talking about. And
my theory is LBJ, who probably wanted to become president anyway, and he probably heard, and he probably knew about Kennedy. Obviously, Kennedy was this young hotshot superstar president that was becoming better and better. Everybody was speaking. A lot of people loved him. A lot of people loathed him. You know, a lot of people had different opinions about him, which that's what presidents bring. And with love comes hate, and with hate comes what happened. And there's going to be death threats, and unfortunately one of those death threats came true. Well, not like it was a threat, because no one knew about it.
No.
But the thing is, with what Kennedy was, there's going to be jealousy. There's always going to be jealousy with something like that, and with somebody always wants a piece of the pie. Somebody always wants that kind of power.
Yeah.
And LBJ obviously wanted that power.
Yeah, because
maybe not. Who knows? But he probably did want that power, and because he wanted that power, he was going to do anything he could to get it.
Yeah, because
but he's not going to do it on his own.
Oh,
he's
no,
going to
no.
hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
So if he did it on his own and he got caught, he'll be fucked. So somebody else needs to take the hit. And the umbrella man, obviously, being stood outside a hot sunny day, no clouds in the sky, no threat of rain or anything like that, standing outside with an umbrella, a bit weird, bit strange, a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he did do it, because the guy said who did work in the CIA, and he did confirm that they did have those kind of weapons. Obviously, maybe that was one of the weapons.
It's like, I go back to,
And again, Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Exactly.
And that was after Martin Luther King died, right? Was it?
What, do you mean after JFK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he die after JFK?
Yeah, because when LBJ was sworn in as president, that's when he cracked down on the black community.
Yeah, but did he die after JFK was killed?
Not immediately after, but I'd say give or take 5 months later. Yeah, because there's a bit of a time.
Because LBJ might have killed him too.
Jump. Might have done.
Because being a president, they got a lot of power, and he can hire anybody.
But the guy who supposedly killed Martin Luther King didn't kill him. And he was sent to prison for...
Same thing happened to Martin Luther King
for 20 years.
Same thing that happened to Oswald then.
Yeah.
He was set up, like the guy that you just said that was set up with Martin Luther King.
I mean, you have Mrs. Kennedy in the Oval Office, completely distraught, her world is falling apart, right? Plus, during this time, before Kennedy did the speech, a few months prior, two of his siblings passed away, because obviously when I mentioned the fact the Kennedys are cursed, so a lot of family members passed away. So she's sitting there bawling her eyes out, and you've got LBJ, right, standing there with a big grin on his face, like happy.
Job's done. He's present.
And then seconds later, he's sworn in as a new president. No voting, because that's what normally happens.
Yeah, you can't vote. Someone has to be sworn in straight after. The vice president.
There has to be a vote, because there's two parties in the government, and each party has to vote on who's sworn in.
He was the vice president. The vice president, if something happens, he's the emergency backup.
Yeah, but
he has to be sworn in straight after.
No. Even though he's vice president, he still has to have a vote from everyone, because they can't just swear him in, because what if everybody else doesn't agree? That's why they have to have a vote before they're sworn in.
He's the vice president. He's there for a reason. He's backup.
Yeah, but they still need to vote. They still need to vote him in. Like say yes. That's the law.
I've got 20 minutes.
But they said sod the law and just swore him in anyway, because they wanted to, sweep JFK under the carpet as if he didn't exist.
Basically,
it's a total fuck up.
Basically, John JFK Kennedy was a bad egg. That's how they saw him, and they wanted to get rid of him because he was different. He wanted the change in society. He wanted people to be in the know. He wanted the free world to become the free world, because that's what America is, the free world. They are the free state. And because of all of this, because he wanted America to become what it's known to be, they obviously didn't want to risk that, because obviously they knew about all these dirty dealings that was happening in the government at the time. There's always dirty dealings happening in the government. There's always back deals going off behind other people's backs and here and there. People don't know about. If that actually went down, all of this that they did wrong would have come to light. And he did say that in the speech. He said, you know, you do something wrong, you don't sweep under the carpet. You have to have let people know about it, because they deserve to know, including the press, including the civilians of this nation. You all deserve to know what we do, and I will do that. I will give that to you. That's what he was saying in the speech. But obviously, like I said, Linden B. Johnson didn't want that, because he didn't want that because he was a dirty bastard. Yeah. And because he was a dirty bastard, people would have found out about his dirty dealings. I mean,
they did a film on Linden B. Johnson, and they tried to make out that he was a nice guy. No, he wasn't. Again, trying to twist the narrative.
He was power mad.
Yeah. And not to get too political, but
we've been political or flipping speak to it.
That's why. But
talking about the president.
But that's why I'm.
Take care.
That's why. I don't know. That's why I'm an independent.
Don't want to be going too political.
That's why I'm an independent, because I don't trust what the government says. I don't trust politicians. For what they can kiss my ass for what I care. Everything they say is a lie. I don't believe it. Yes, I'm registered to vote, but I don't vote because, you know, they're not going to do anything. So I class myself as an independent.
I vote, I make sure, but I can understand why you think that, because my toenails need cutting. Like I said, I vote myself, and it's a privilege to vote, because we have to realise that we have a democracy, and we should be happy about that. But I can see why you are like this, because the way things are. The way politicians are, the way they are before and after they are sworn into to presidential or prime minister when they win the election, they give so many promises, and with promises comes hope, and with hope comes, unfortunately, a lie.
Yeah.
When they get thrown into the office, when they get sworn in, that's when they change for me. David Cameron. He became Prime Minister in the late 2000s, and Theresa May took over in the mid 2010s. It was unfortunate, really, because David Cameron actually promised a lot. Green energy was mentioned. We was going to become a clean and very dependent on green energy. That's what he said. We're gonna build green energy up. That's what he said, and not many changes were actually made. Nope. He actually went back on his promise, and other things were focused on instead. And there was a lot of cutbacks on green energy. The reason why I'm talking about this is because his promises before and after were different. After, when being voted in for Prime Minister, things changed. Before, they were different. That's what happens. You get all these different influences behind you when you get into office. Probably a load of old fogies want the old way, want things to stay the same because they're too old to learn new tricks. So they want things to stay the same. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But this is how I see it. Young guy comes in, they get hold of him, put him on a leash, change his ways, all of a sudden, bang. He's not the way he was before he came into office. Kennedy wanted things to change. The old fogies didn't want those things to change. They got rid of him because they saw him as a bad egg. With him being a bad egg, they swept it under the carpet. Supposedly no one knew about it, but obviously we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So, but nobody knows who the killer still was, right?
Eh?
No one still knows who the killer is.
No. But we've, made up our minds, to LBJ and the Umbrella Man, who are the only two who got closest, who were close to the target. So, we're gonna wrap this up quickly, but this is why don't believe what you hear, because there are a hell of a lot of the documents that have been released by the CIA. These documents were released 30-something years later. These were released into the public domain in 1992. Yeah, 1992. And there's going to be more documents released. There's some more JFK documents being released in 2021. So, believe it or don't believe it, you're open to believe what you want, but there's a lot of shit that, won't open your eyes. But I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope we've opened your eyes up a bit. Maybe you already knew about this, or maybe you didn't. Hopefully you've learned something. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think. If you want any more videos like these, let us know in the comments. We have a rough idea of what we want to film for you guys, but we welcome more, interests. I certainly want to do more of these, but we also want to include other things
Lost
as well.
in Space will be next. Lost in Space episode 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like I say, let us know in the comments what you think. And that'll be it for today. We will see you next week.
Probably not. I break up from work next Friday for 11 days, so it'll probably not this Monday, but the Monday after. We'll let you know. What? Because I'm at work all week next week.
Well, we're going to have to try and sort something out, because obviously,
Anyway, we'll let you know, guys. We'll figure it out. But until then, we'll see you soon. Nice talking to you guys. Hope that interested you.
Never felt a feeling of comfort. All this time I've been hiding.
Thanks for tuning, guys. See you next time.
I'm so used to shit.
Charles just fucking make me dinner.